Welcome back to the Bandwidth Tapes. I'm Brad, and today's guest is the incredible Alison Prestwood. Alison is one of those musicians whose name shows up everywhere once you start paying attention. An elite bassist, singer, songwriter, and bandleader with deep roots in both the Atlanta and Nashville scenes. She's toured with Peter Frampton, she's played with some of the best musicians on the planet, and she has the rare combination of feel, taste, and total musical authority without ever making it about ego. In this conversation, we talk about her jump from Atlanta to Nashville in the early 90s, the forever climbing mindset that keeps great players sharp, and her musical North Stars, Paul McCartney, Jamerson, Willie Weeks, and an unforgettable weekend learning directly from Carol Kaye. We also get into the details, R&B versus country feel, the drummer-bassist chemistry, her podcast, Hey, Good For You, and her brand new Merle Haggard tribute project, We Are the Merle. This one feels like part hang and part masterclass. So let's get into it. Here's my conversation with Alison Prestwood.
I got on a city bus and found a vacant seat. I thought I saw my future bride walking up the street. I shouted to the driver, hey conductor, you must slow down. I think I see her, please let me off this bus. Nadine, honey, is that you? Oh, Nadine, honey, is that you? Seems like every time I see you, darling, you got something else to do.
Alison Prestwood, it is an absolute honor and a pleasure to get to hang out with you. I've heard your name for many, many years, and I'm so happy that we finally connected. How's it going?
Oh, it's going great. And Brad, I'm really excited to be here. I've listened to some of your episodes, and you do a really good job. And so I'm very proud to be here.
Well, I have started listening to your podcast as well. It's pretty cool. I can't wait to talk about that too, and just all of the funny overlaps in our lives that these fun little people that we all seem to know and have been lucky to play with, and the Atlanta stories and all that. It's so cool.
It is cool. Yeah. Scott Meter alone, that's a great story.
Yeah, I can't wait to hear your Scott Meter stories. He man, oh man. I could sit here and talk to you all the rest of the day just about him.
I know.
What he means to me.
One of the greats. Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely. So as we're recording this, we've both just been experiencing a little winter weather. Mine in the form of snow. You had lots of ice in the Nashville area. How were things okay for you?
Things were okay as far as power not going off. But the way my house is situated in the subdivision, the ice stays. Like across the street, everybody is thawed out, and then I still have ice all over my driveway and stuff.
Really?
But yeah, it's something about the north face.
Mm-hmm.
And but all is well. The very fact that I did not have my power go out is everything, because most of my friends that I've talked to, some still experiencing it, and maybe for the next 2 weeks.
Unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I was supposed to do some interviews earlier this week, and I've had to postpone because some of the people that live in town have not had power to be able to meet. So
yeah, it's
just
really
it's
a big
sad.
deal.
Yeah.
The last time this happened in Nashville was 93 or 94, about the year I moved here.
Okay.
Yeah, big ice storm.
It's funny that it feels like Nashville gets the extremes of weather. It's really interesting. I'm sure you remember this. I was at Belmont in the mid-90s. I started there in like 96, and somewhere around like 98 was when that big tornado came through.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was terrifying. And then the floods, and then the ice. I mean, it's like poor Nashville.
Nashville's extreme in a lot of ways. The weather's one of them.
Yeah. So you moved there you said what, the early mid-90s?
Yeah, it was 93. It was around November of 93. And because I was living in Atlanta and playing at Rupert's with the Rupert's Orchestra.
Yeah.
So for up until when I actually moved, for a few months, I was playing at Rupert's. At that point, they were Thursday through Saturday, getting in the car Sunday, driving here to Nashville, and just trying to find my way, not driving, but I figured out my way driving, but trying to find my way as a musician here for those and first few months. And then I just decided to take the risk.
Yeah. And I imagine just potentially giving up a lot of steady work to go and just jump into the unknown. But here you are those years later, and what a career you've had so far, and still going.
Thank you. Yeah, it has been good. It was a good move for me. I moved to Atlanta in 81, I think it was, and then left in 93. So I had a full career there, playing with Tom Gross and the Varsity and Jerome Moles and Tom Gross before that. And so by the time I moved here, I was 36. And it was just one of those things where as much as I love the people I had played with and at Rupert's also, I just didn't want to do the nightlife anymore. It was never really me. I'm a morning person, if there ever was one. And it just kind of got to, you just have to go for it or realize that I would have to go for it or realize that was my future, was playing in clubs, and nothing wrong with it. So I sure had a good time. And I got my chops together there, I would say, was the benefit to me before I moved here was all those years, 5-6 nights a week, several sets. That'll get your chops together.
Yeah, that's it. That repetition just in playing with good musicians, I mean, it was certainly setting you up for that transition to being in Nashville. I mean, just playing with those caliber players alone in Tom's band. Amazing.
It was really good. And Scott Meter, we briefly mentioned, but playing with him on drums couldn't have been any better preparation for the rest of my life. And there's still no one better than Scott. When you get to that kind of level, there's only different and there's not better, and he's one of those.
Yeah, I agree. I will never forget. I was playing I joined a corporate wedding band in Atlanta, and Scott was, he came in. He had played for a while and then was doing some other stuff, and he came in. My first gig with him, we were doing sound check, and he just started playing, and I just stopped and was like, what is happening right now? It was like the first time I'd ever heard someone play drums before. It was the moment I heard him play for the first time. It was, you know what I mean?
I completely get it. Yeah.
I tell everyone it's like taking your groove in for a tune-up every time you get to play with him,
It is. It was a joy every single time. And it was sad when Tom Gross and the Varsity, broke up or I left or whatever happened. But, after all those years, I missed playing with Scott a lot.
Yeah.
And really when I say broke up or left, it was on good terms. I was just going through times in my life where it was time to move to the next thing, but I still love those guys. I stay in touch with them.
How did you? So was the move to Atlanta just kind of like the move to Nashville? It's ready to kind of move to this new phase in your career. Is that what drew you to Atlanta?
Well, I went to Alabama and graduated from there in music. And I had been in a band called Moon Pie. It was a funk band with horns. We were really good, but we happened to get asked to do an album in Birmingham at Sound of Birmingham. I think it was somebody's tax write-off, really. And I was probably 20 maybe by then. And somebody heard me that day and started hiring me to come play on sessions in Birmingham, which led to playing on some sessions in Atlanta. And so that's how that bridge happened. And then I was playing in a band called Forecast after Moon Pie. And we also had played some in Atlanta. So that was just it was a comfort zone. And I wasn't sure that I liked country music enough to move to Nashville. I had been so much into funk and R&B and that world that just seemed where I needed to keep putting my focus. So I went to Atlanta. And then also later in Atlanta days, I was introduced to Walt Aldrich in Muscle Shoals, who passed away recently, which is very sad. But he really good songwriter, producer. And so really my entree into Nashville was via Muscle Shoals.
Oh, cool. Yeah. That's awesome.
There was just enough work because I had played for Walt at Fame in Muscle Shoals on his demos, and Ronnie Milsap cut one of his songs, and he had listened to the demo, I guess, a lot, and he wanted that bass part. So they ended up asking me or bringing me to Nashville for a day to overdub on the tracks that had already been cut for Ronnie. So really my first session in Nashville was a master, which is funny to think about because it's really hard to get there in the real world, which I soon understood very well. But so that's how that happened. And that gave me the courage to think, well, if I'm going to do it, I better do it now.
Yeah, that's amazing. And man, Ronnie Milsap, nonetheless, what a voice. It's interesting because, he's made it in the country music world, but to me, I almost don't consider Ronnie Milsap a country singer. He's a soul singer to me. He's an R&B singer,
He is, which was probably why he liked the stuff coming out of Muscle Shoals.
Yeah, absolutely.
And so all that kind of worked together. But it was such a great day because there I was in Ronnie's studio. It was him and his producer, Rob Galbraith, and an engineer, and just me out in the room and doing that part. But once I played it, I looked and Ronnie was standing up and doing like a touchdown symbol sign. And I was like, oh, it was the greatest feeling to know that had happened for me and that I was appreciated for that one thing by somebody like that. It was really good for my confidence.
Absolutely. I talk about that on here a lot is that, I would say artistic people and specifically musicians, just the mental gymnastics that we all deal with of insecurity and imposter syndrome, all of those things, it's like no matter what level you get to, no matter where you are in your career, everyone still deals with it in some extent or another. Would you agree?
I would agree. And if they say they're not, they're probably lying.
Yeah, that's right.
There's almost no way around it. For me, it wasn't so much the imposter syndrome as if it's a syndrome, I don't know. But it's like I felt like I never was attaining. Like there's always something ahead of me, which actually is good, But there were, let me put it this way. When I did move here and the first place I went was the Bluebird on a Monday night, and there was a blues band, Mike Henderson and the Blue Bloods, and Glenn Worf was playing bass. He's the first bass player I heard when I moved to Nashville, and I didn't realize at the time that he was one of the top two, him and Michael Rhodes. And I thought, oh, man, well, if they're that good, then girls got some work to do. Yeah. And that was really always my attitude. I studied all the great bass players and just I loved every minute of it. It was very invigorating and exciting to try to climb that ladder and learn more and more. So for me, that was my syndrome, was just the forever climbing. What's the mythological figure that was rolling a stone up the hill and then it kept coming back? Yeah. That was me.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah.
No, I get it. I was just telling someone yesterday what I heard was that the only people that don't feel like imposters are the imposters themselves. That's it.
Right. Yeah.
So funny.
Yeah. Somebody should write a book about the mental gymnastics, as you
I
put it.
agree. I agree. Who were some, as you were coming up as a bass player, even to this day, who were some of those North Stars for you? For like Willie Weeks was my guy. It was
Oh,
absolutely
man.
Willie and Jamerson and all those players. Who were the people you looked up to?
Well, while you're on those two, both Willie
Mm.
Weeks, and I was able to become a friend of his after being here for a while. I recently saw him play live with, oh gosh, it's blanking me out. He was playing in Nashville, and it blows my mind how good he is. Yeah, like I'm preaching to the choir here when I'm talking to you on that one. But yeah, I love Willie. And I actually studied these guys. I mean, I would go to the used record store, and if I saw Glenn Worf, Michael Rhodes, Willie Weeks, Lee Sklar, as far as learning how to play country music and any kind of music well here in Nashville, and I just bring it home and woodshed on it. So there are those guys. Initially, Paul McCartney, because I was a huge
Absolutely.
Beatles fan when I was a little kid, and I like to say anything Paul McCartney. I wanted to play like Paul McCartney. I wanted to be Paul McCartney. I wanted to date Paul McCartney. I mean, anything. Huge fan. So that was first. And, of course, Jamerson, absolutely. Carol Kaye,
Absolutely, Carol Kaye.
a
Yeah.
biggie. I got to spend a weekend at her house.
What?
Yeah, I did. Early 2000s. I had met her at a NAMM show, probably 1999 or so, and befriended her on email. And she asked me to sit in at that NAMM show. So she kind of knew that I had a certain dexterity or whatever, certain talent at it. And I was going to be in L.A. playing with somebody, I can't remember, Kim Carnes maybe. And I contacted her to see if I could take a lesson while I was in town. And she said, well, why don't you spend the night at my house that weekend? So I actually did. It was one of the greatest things I have ever done in my life. And I just wish that I had done that with more of my heroes. But it was wonderful. It was the Saturday. We worked all day on pick technique because that's really what I wanted to know was her pick technique. I mean, she sat there and played Bernadette in front of me. So, and for a lot of reasons, I do believe that was her, by the way, and we can get into that if you want to. But, so we did that all day, went to dinner. She told me the greatest stories. She's no shrinking violet. She has some great stories. And then the next day she wanted to work with me on some jazz things, and we did that, and then I left. But it was fantastic, just fantastic.
Unbelievable, the opportunity to get to do that and just soak up her knowledge and her history and her perspective on things. Amazing.
Yes, and another thing I love about her too is it's not about being a girl musician. That's not it. It's about being a good musician.
Yeah.
And so our whole time, obviously, it was obvious we were two women in the room, but it was never a woe is me or anything, it was just trying to be good and learning from a great player. And I think even in the 60s, she was already of that mindset. Being a woman, it didn't make a bit of difference other than she had to go home at the end of the night and take care of 3 kids. She worked so hard. But it was really great, Brad. It was I can't say enough good about that. And I still keep in touch with her. Talked to her the other day.
Oh, that's amazing. That's she just one of those people that has forgotten more of the session she's played on than most people will ever get to play in their life.
Oh, for sure.
It's incredible.
Yeah.
That's amazing. Was bass your first instrument? Where did you start? Because you play guitar. You're a great singer. You do it all. You're a fantastic musician.
Well, thank you so much. First first instrument, well, let me put it this way. My mother was a piano teacher for a while, and she taught my sister and me how to read music when we were learning how to read words. So I've always known that. So technically, I guess you'd say my first instrument was piano, in that, I knew I could visualize the chords, and which has helped me forever since. There also are pictures of me with a little toy guitar when I was, 4. So that was in my blood all the way, just playing guitar until I was 13, and I bought, with my allowance, a national copy of a Hofner, which I still have, and it's in great shape.
Oh,
I have babied that thing, yeah. And it sounds better than, I know this is sacrilegious, it sounds better than a couple of Hofners that I have. But, Hofners don't age well with the neck and everything. But that one, that national, if I was going to sit here, and this is my little recording studio here, if somebody were to need a Paul McCartney part, a Beatles part on something, I would go grab that one instead of the Hofners.
Way back in the 90s, when I was still naive, I was propositioned by someone you would not believe. Looking back is hard, and I'm embarrassed now to say I turned Waylon Jennings down one dark and stormy day. He had told Rodney Crowell he had designs on me, and Rodney said he thought I ought to take it seriously. Next time I saw Waylon, it came down to yes or no. Well, I'm a good-hearted woman, but he did not think so. If I had it to do over, I would do things differently. But I was young and sweet and thought he'd do too much for me. Now I'd give $1 million for that chance to come around. The dumbest thing I ever did was turning Waylon down.
We were talking about R&B and country, and a lot of listeners of the podcast are maybe just people that enjoy listening to music, and I would love to hear your thoughts on maybe if you were to play an R&B song with an R&B band versus playing a country song, a 2/4 country song. As a bass player in the rhythm section, how do you what kind of mental adjustments? What is your thought process on note length, phrasing, locking in? How do you think through some of those things between those two different styles of music?
That's a really good question. And I guess I don't think about it really too much, but in playing with records and all, I suppose, one obvious thing is more subdivisions, on a R&B thing. And even within R&B, I would change the length of the notes depending on the song and the phrasing of the singer and whatever it might be. And country, country does have, quote, rules, sort of. Like when this is so inside, Brad. But let's say you're going to a C to an F. Well, you don't go C, G, F is the rule. You go C, C, F. So
yeah. But Jeff Pickett, he and I were talking about flopping, flopping back and forth and doubling that 1 before you go up to the 4, right?
Yes, I had to learn that one. So, but even within that, rules are made to be broken. But if I were giving someone advice who is new to town, I would tell them that one. It's a good starting place, and then you're going to break a rule. There's a good reason. Interestingly, I am starting a new band. It's a Merle Haggard tribute band. Our first gig is March 10th. And because he was from Bakersfield, his records don't use that rule. Mm-hmm. And it's going to be fun and a little bit of a challenge to actually go play those country songs as simple as one would think they are, and to play them correctly or the way that he was listening to music, I can't use that rule.
Yeah.
And that's going to be fun. There's a lot about that band that's going to be fun.
Well, it's funny you bring that up. I have it in my notes here, and I just have a text here from someone in that band because I saw your post about it, and someone in that band I've been friends with for over 20 years.
Who?
Dylan Rawson.
No way. Wow.
So I was living in Atlanta. I was playing in a country band with a guy you may have known. Did you know Tommy Dodd, pedal steel guitar player?
Uh-huh.
I was in a band with Tommy for 10 years or so. And Dylan and his brother and his dad had just moved to Atlanta. They were looking to play some music with people, and they came out and heard our band. And I went over to the Rawsons' house and started playing in a band with Dylan and his family.
This is incredible.
Dylan was still in elementary school, I think, when this happened. So I've known him. I've played a million gigs with his brother and sister, Kobe and Courtney, who still live in Georgia. Mm-hmm. I don't know if you've met David and Brenda, Dylan's parents, but David he was a bass player with Joe Stampley back in the day. He's written a bunch of songs, and Dylan is just an unbelievable talent.
He is, and he has told me that his dad played with Joe Stampley. I have not met his parents, but Dylan and I met because we're both on the same worship team at World Outreach in Murfreesboro. Yeah, and I just noticed him. I noticed his playing because it was more. How would I put this? It had more lines in it. It had, whereas a lot of times in that world, things are just more atmospheric on guitar.
A lot of textures and pads and
almost like a keyboard.
Mm-hmm.
And then here was this guy playing these cool lines, and I struck up a conversation. And then we obviously had a lot of similarities of people we listened to. And so when I was starting to think about this Merle Haggard band, I was talking to him about it, and all of a sudden he had, he has all of this knowledge, like more than me for sure, about that. And I was thinking, well, I got to have this guy. Yeah, I'm so excited about this.
So who else is in that band?
Brent Rader is singing and playing drums.
Oh, man.
Yeah, and Eddie Dunlap is playing steel. Kenny Vaughn on electric, Carmela Ramsey on vocals and fiddle, Dylan on acoustic and singing, Garrett Anderson on keys, and me.
My goodness, what a band.
It's going to be good. It's called We Are the Merle.
I saw that. I don't know if there are many band names better than that.
Well, thank you.
That is so good.
Thank you.
Is it just a chance for a bunch of friends to get together? Is it honoring Merle? What was the inspiration behind starting that band?
I had been listening to Merle a lot while I was on the road with Frampton in 2025. And it just occurred to me, because I've even been in like a Beatles cover band, and there are a lot of cover bands in Nashville. And it just hit me that, gosh, nobody has a country cover band that I think of. I mean, there are plenty of great, country bands and the Time Jumpers and all that. But I knew there was not at least I had not heard of a Merle Haggard tribute band. So I started rolling it around in my head, and it just kept sounding like a great idea. And I know Ron, who owns Third and Lindsley, because I've played there over the years so much, and I ran it past him, and he thought it was a great idea. So when I knew that I could get us booked, then at that point, it was the horses were out of the gate. Just had to get the right players and songs.
For my ears and my taste, I don't think there's ever been a better country singer than Merle Haggard, and a songwriter. Unbelievable.
It's so good. Yesterday I was watching one of his concerts on YouTube, and he wasn't singing the melody that he had written on everything, but it was all so good, and his pitch was so good and so effortless. So good.
So good. I'm gonna look at my schedule, and I'm not too far from you. I'm in St. Louis, so it's not too far. I might have to make the pilgrimage down. I might have to come down and check you guys out.
Oh, please, March 10th.
March 10th. That's going to be a lot of fun. And what a lineup! What a roster of musicians for that. Yeah,
This is going to be a good time.
a good time. You were talking about Frampton. I'd love to hear about, first of all, just what it's like getting to work with him and how that gig came your way. I was a student at Belmont in the 90s when Brian Fullen was playing drums with him, and Brian was teaching at Belmont at the time. So he brought Peter, and Keith Horn was playing bass, and they came and played and just melted everybody's faces. And I've seen some videos of you playing with them. Man, Alison, you have such a deep pocket in playing those tunes. It just sounds so good. It sounds so good. Yeah.
Thank you.
I'd love to hear about your journey playing with that band.
Okay, but before I forget to mention his name, Dan Wojciechowski is playing drums on that, and he's the rock. He's actually the quarterback of the whole thing without even saying anything, but his playing is so good it makes it easy for me.
He's so good. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah. Okay, so I think you asked what's it like playing with him, and it's one of those things where, I'm sure you've experienced this, where you hear somebody sing and you go, "Yep, that's him." Mm-hmm. It's one of those, okay, that is cool. That's definitely Peter Frampton. I got the gig because, first I'd played a demo for him, probably 10 years ago. And so he had met me and had some knowledge of me. And then when Steve Mackey, his bass player before me, decided it was time to stay in town because his studio work was getting good, So, and Steve's fantastic. But when he stepped down, Peter called Glenn Worf for the gig, and Glenn couldn't do it, but he said, "Why don't you call Alison?" And so I got a text one day, "Hi, Alison, it's Peter Frampton, wondering if you'd like to play with me." And I sent that to one of my sisters, and she thought I was kidding. I said, no, it's real. So then Rob Arthur, the band leader and keyboard player, and Peter and I got together at Peter's house and ran through, I think, 3 songs, and that was it.
And you're playing and you're singing, right? You're singing harmonies and the whole deal, right?
Singing some harmonies, and also when I was coming up and playing in my early bands, we played 4 Day Creep, My Humble Pie. Mm-hmm. And so now it's funny, all these years later, I'm singing the second verse, the lead on 4 Day Creep, which is the most scary and the most fun part of the whole night.
That is amazing. Yeah, that's incredible. Is he still planning to tour more in the future? Because I know, you guys toured last year, right? We
did. I started it in the summer of 23.
Okay.
And he's gone public with his muscular disease. Mm-hmm. Yeah. And so that everyone knows about that, and so the way that it's been handled since I've been in the band is you do the tour, and then the end of the year he evaluates if he wants to go on further. And so far he's continued to do that, and I think we're booked Hollywood Bowl actually in July. And so far he's doing it, and he still plays great. He can't walk as well, so we all sit down to play. But he plays great in my estimation. I think it frustrates him that maybe he can't play as fast as he used to, but a lot of us are in the same boat for other reasons. And so me personally, I'm honored to play with him at this part of his career. We did the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Yeah. And it went very well, and I loved it. And so I'm just going to be there if he needs me, and whatever day that he decides that he wants to hang it up, then I'll understand that, and that's good too.
She left without leaving a number.
said she needed to clear her mind. He figured she'd gone back to Austin, 'cause she talked about it all the time. It was almost a year before she called him up. 3 rings and an answering machine is what she got. If you're calling about the car, I sold it. If this is Tuesday night, I'm bowling. If you got something to sell, you're wasting your time. I'm not buying. If it's anybody else, wait for the tone. You know what to do. And P.S. if this is Austin, I still love you.
Yeah, I saw the video. I saw a video of you guys playing, and I was certainly going to ask you about what that experience had to have been like playing for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Unbelievable.
Yes, it was, and, yeah, it was very special. It was, everything was massive. Like the place was massive, and the parties were massive, and everything. The production was massive, and Keith Urban played with us, and was totally cool. Apparently, he's been a longtime fan of Peter's, and so it was very special to him too. That we're a really good band, but you never know if one night might not be as good as another, I guess. But I've told people I knew from maybe not the count off, but I knew within a couple of bars into the intro that it was going to be good. I could just tell that, I don't know, everything was dialed in and everybody was just playing great and not being too careful. And we had a great time, and I'm really proud of our performance.
That's amazing. Yeah, I think that musicians on stage typically sit up a little straighter, sort of stand up a little straighter when they know that other musicians are in the room. And I can imagine that night, I can't imagine the cast of characters that were probably in the audience when you guys were playing that night.
Dionne Warwick was sitting right in front of me, and if I can tell you a little story about that.
Yes.
Yeah, okay. My very first concert ever that I saw, I went with my father to see Dionne Warwick in Montgomery, Alabama when I was 13. And it was great, and it was, inspirational for me as a young woman and musician. And so her dressing room was actually right across from ours. But the word was, don't bother Miss Warwick. Everybody keep your distance. And so I did. But as we were leaving our dressing room, walking to the stage for the performance, who should be coming right past me in a wheelchair but Dionne Warwick? And so I just stopped and Miss Warwick, I've been a fan of yours forever. You were my very first concert. I loved you then. I love you now. And it's so great to meet you. And that was about the extent of it. And she was very gracious. It was just a few seconds that I was able to talk to her. But I thought, wow, what a cool thing. Thank you, God, for giving me that opportunity.
Amazing opportunity. I'm sure, music was already in your soul way before that first concert, but that had to have lit a spark, seeing her live for the first time. And then that full circle moment, getting to just share that gratitude with her. That's amazing.
Oh, it was. Who was your first concert?
Golly, I started going to concerts. So I actually don't know if I remember what my very first one was, because when I was a kid growing up in Georgia, my grandparents took me everywhere with them to go hear music. And they used to go to I don't know if you're familiar with this place. It's called the Georgia Mountain Fair in Hiawassee, Georgia. It's up at the top of the state and up near like western North Carolina. And the first concert I remember seeing when I was a kid, I remember two people. I remember seeing Ricky Skaggs when I was a kid. And I remember seeing Newgrass Revival and hearing John Cowan play bass and sing, and it was like the first day of the rest of my life. I mean, like, that's the way I think a song should be sung, and I still remember it to this day.
Have you had a chance to meet him?
I have, and tell him that. Yeah.
Oh, good.
Because I do think there's something really special of like what happened with you with Dion, to just get to pass that love back to them that they didn't even know they gave you or that early on in your life, you know?
And even though they've heard it maybe a lot of times, it almost needs to be said, and I still feel like they appreciate it in some way. I hope so.
I hope so too. And you know, I think I can't remember who it was I had on the podcast, that when I finished talking with them, and they were a little, you know, older in years, I told them how much I appreciate it, and they said, I appreciate you still remembering me. You know, it's like, you know, you wonder if some of these performers, as we get older, that they worry that they're not going to be as relevant, and it's like that's not the case at all. You're a still hero to many, many people out there. So yeah, I think them hearing it probably still means a lot.
That's a really good point. Really good observation. Yeah, because we think that our heroes are, you know, invincible, infallible, don't think about their own vulnerability.
Yeah.
And, you know, as you get older, you can't help really but think about it.
Yeah, it's I'm, you know, I'll be 50 in November, and
You're a young man.
I don't feel like it some days. But you know, it's one of the things that I notice as I'm getting older is I used to think that my heroes were so many years older than me, and when I see their ages now, I think we're much closer in age than I thought we were. And but also just you know, I know every day is one less day that I'm going to have on earth or with the people that I love or people that mean something to me. And I think it's important to tell people how you feel about them and what they mean to you, whether you know them or not, you know, and that goes to what we're talking about. Telling those people how much they mean to you I think it's important.
It's really important. It happens to be a time in my life where I'm doing well and my health is good, but I have friends going through really hard times right now for some reason, almost in a wave. So yes, that's an important thing to tell everybody.
Yeah. I just got back to St. Louis, but almost tomorrow will be 2 weeks ago. I was down in Georgia. My mom's been having some health issues, and I'm an only child, and just dealing with the responsibility of all that. And it's just, boy, it just makes you look at life through a different lens than you did as you're starting to take care of the people that took care of you, you know?
Yes, I definitely went through that with my mother, and it's daunting, but it's a chance to get closer at the end. Mm-hmm. Even in tough situations. The way that my mother and I, as much as we might have been at odds during some of those times, in the grand scheme of things, it's a sweet time to look back on because we shared that time and understood each other and those kind of things. So I have that to hold on to, which is important.
Yeah. My mom and we've probably had more deep conversations in the past few weeks than we had in many years.
Yeah.
And I hate the circumstance that led to it, but I'm grateful that we've had that opportunity, you know?
Yes. And you won't be sorry, for sure.
That's it. So you're also a fellow podcaster. Again, another great title. Hey, good for you. I'd love to know about that, and I'd love to hear about the origin of the podcast and who your compadres are in doing that. Yeah.
My compadres, my co-hosts are Rachel Loy and Harmony Kelly.
Wow.
Rachel, Rachel is they're both great bass players, and Rachel is a producer, but she played bass here in Nashville a lot and in Austin on records, and has had a really successful career These girls are younger than me, but we still have a lot of similar stories. Harmony plays with Kenny Chesney, and she also lives in Austin now. So what happened was Peter Frampton was playing in Austin 2 years ago, I guess it was. And I got together after that with also Kathy Valentine of the Go-Go's came to hear us. So we went to hear David Grissom play at the Saxon Pub in Austin. So, yeah, it was a crazy table. It was, Peter and Kathy Valentine and Harmony and Rachel and me. And afterwards, we obviously took some really cool photos of the four of us. And Kathy had to go home, but Rachel and Harmony and I went to some place that had wine. And one of us, it was probably Rachel, came up with the grand idea that we needed to do a podcast. And, of course, we were completely into it. The thing is, it takes somebody like Rachel who is an engine of, she runs on a very high-energy engine. And so she actually made it happen. And then all of a sudden, we were recording these podcasts and enjoying ourselves immensely. The way the name came about was we were thinking, what is the stupidest thing that has ever been said to you about being a girl bass player? And mine was, I don't even remember who said it, but somebody actually came up to me at the end of a show and said, wow, you're as good as some guys I've heard.
Oh, my gosh.
It was so stupid. It didn't, I laughed. But so there was that. And then Rachel's the one that said, somebody came up to me and said, hey, good for you. Oh. And so that we just jumped on that.
It's, I had a feeling that had to have been something similar to what led to the title of that. It was how perfect, but just encapsulating a lot of the themes and things that you three discuss in the podcast. It's incredible.
Yeah, well, thank you. And it's funny, there's another female bass player named Ryan Medora in Nashville, and she texted me the other day. She was playing in Vegas, and she said, hey, I just wanted to know, somebody came up to me and said, hey, good for you. Yeah, it's funny. One thing about that podcast that, I love many things about it. One of the things I love is that although obviously we're female musicians, it's not like a rah-rah thing or we need more attention because, we can't do it without it or whatever all that stuff is that Carol Kaye long ago proved to me that was unnecessary. We more laugh at that kind of thing rather than take any of it seriously. The podcast is basically just a show. Here are three successful women bass players, and what kind of fun things, challenges, or whatever along the way, victories. Mm-hmm. Let's talk about that. And then we also have guests. We'll do maybe a couple where it's just the three of us, like a coffee clatch. You ever heard that phrase?
No, never heard that phrase.
Oh, yeah. It must be a Southern thing that my grandparents taught me. But we'll just have those with the three of us for 2 episodes. And then we'll have some great guests like, Kenny Greenberg and Nick Buda. We just had Jim Moose Brown on and Jen Gunderman. Wow. Yeah. Jen Gunderman's episodes come out starting Tuesday. So it's just, you know how it is. It's just a blast. And we get to talk to people that otherwise, life just goes on and you don't see them or talk to them. But to me, it's one of my favorite things going on right now is that podcast with those girls.
Beautiful man, a song in the heavens, an elegant tune, a life that ended much too soon. Beautiful man, the years were like diamonds, deep in the rough, precious moments never treasured enough.
Beautiful man, gentle and wise, so like a child, so like the wind. Beautiful man, gone from us now, but still here somehow.
When we moved to St. Louis, I was in a stage in my life where it was kind of time I wasn't gonna hang up playing music, because I still play. I still go back to Georgia some and play with some people and play some here. But for the most part, I was ready to kind of move on to something else. But I still wanted some way to stay in touch with people, and I wanted a way to remain creative somehow. And that's what led to this. And I just wanted this to become one of these things where I just really enjoy it. I just enjoy getting to have conversations with people like you that have so much just knowledge and perspective and empathy, and just, I feel like sharing the stories of people that, like you, that are just incredible musicians with the world is I've just really enjoyed doing it.
Well, you do a really good job, and I know you've had some heavyweights on here recently.
Well, you
can't
know
wait.
yeah, I got to, as we were recording this, I got to talk with Steve Gadd yesterday, and it turned out to just be just like me and you are sitting here talking to each other right now. I mean, I told him when we finished, I said, I didn't want to talk about 50 Ways. I didn't want to talk about Asia. I didn't want to, he said, I appreciate that. He said, I don't remember those sessions back in the days. I said, yeah, I said, you shouldn't be held responsible knowing what sticking you played on a session 40 years ago, right?
Yeah.
You know, I
You're
said,
more likely to remember what the catering was.
that's exactly it. You know, it was, we talked about his teachers, and we talked about, you know, monitor mixes, and we talked about things like, it was a fun, just laid back conversation. You know what it is like, just getting to talk to these people, and they have just such cool stories to tell. You know?
Oh, yeah. The Dave Garibaldi episode is also one of my favorites
Yeah.
that I listen to.
Yeah. I like talking to drummers, and I like talking to bass players, because, as you know, playing with people like Scott Meter, you could write a textbook about the drummer bass player relationship, and just the psychology of it, the nuts and bolts of it. And I love to talk with drummers and bass players about what that relationship means to them. And I've gotten to talk with got to talk to Paul Lime about it. Got to talk about, I'm sure that subject is near and dear to your heart too, of what that means, getting to play with great drummers.
It is, and there are so many great drummers here in Nashville, and so many that play differently from each other.
Mm-hmm.
Like Greg Morrow, I play with a lot over the years, and have played with a lot, and continue to. Nick Buda, in the last few years, I've been playing a blues gig with him, and he also plays with Kenny Chesney. And his is more of a unpredictable but always pocketed way to play. And really Greg's unpredictable too, but more of in a production, like an idea way or something. It's hard to describe. I guess my point is there are so many great drummers here, and my relationship with each of them is special, and it has its own place. And how they play affects how I play. Right?
Yeah.
You know that thing. And it is. Somebody really should you should write a book. You'd be the perfect one. And just have several people talk about it.
Yeah, it's amazing just what bass players look for in a drummer, or what drummers look for in a bass player. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's similar, sometimes it's different, and it may depend. It's like, who's responsible for the time this time, or who's responsible for the time at this, and what about us playing the same pattern, or what if we're playing off of each other? And I mean, there's just so much of that it's so it's just maybe it's a little too inside baseball, but I love those type of conversations.
Oh, I love those. Yes, I absolutely love that. And the whole thing about playing, are we both going doon, 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 or is somebody going doon, do, 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 doon, do, 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 doon?
Right.
Yes, it's the coolest thing. But it's not always a decision. Well, I'm just talking here. You know what I'm going to be saying, but it's not like you get together and make a decision before you go out into the studio to play a thing. You hear the song and you go out there and somehow it just molds together into whatever it's going to be. It's a fantastic feeling. And like the guys that are super experienced who aren't upset if you don't play the same thing that they do. I love the freedom of that. It's a huge subject. It's the greatest.
It is, and there's nothing. What was that saying? Life's too short to play with bad drummers. I mean, that's
Yes, sir.
and I would say you like, maybe unlike more than anyone, get to really play with some great ones, and you've played with some great ones across your career, which is amazing.
Yes, I've been really fortunate in that way. There's the times that I've been disappointed in a drummer's performance here, or gosh, in 30 years or whatever I've been here, it'd probably be on one hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I did want to bring this up. One of the funny things, the other things that you and I have in common with each other, is that you and I both appeared on Star Search back in the day.
Oh, man. Who were you with?
I was with myself. I was a singer.
Wow. That's brave.
I was a junior vocalist. I recorded it in 89 and it aired in 90. I was on the same season and lost to the same guy that Christina Aguilera did. I was on that season.
Oh, wow. So you were super young.
I was 12. You remember that studio that on TV looked like this massive room, and then you're in it and it's not that big at all.
Yes.
I was there I was 12 on November 4th. The next day, a loser on Star Search, I flew home on my 13th birthday.
Oh, man. Whoa.
Yeah, so I was 12 when I filmed it, 13 when it aired. So, and you were on there, what was it? What year would that have been?
86, I think.
86.
Yeah.
With Tom Gross.
Yes. I was going to ask you, are your grandparents and parents, are you from a musical family? Okay.
Yeah, both sides. My dad's family and my mom's family all played. And, it's one of those things that I took for granted, I think, probably a little bit, in that I just thought all families sat around and played and sang with each other when they got together. Yeah. How about you?
Well, my mother was a very good piano player. She played for church for 25 years and could read anything and could play anything by ear. So I think my talent came from her. And my father, who was an attorney, but he loved country music, which all those years when I was a teenager and teaching him senior songs or whatever really came in handy when I was in Nashville. I think the funny thing about my father is he couldn't really sing well and he couldn't really play well, but it didn't matter because he had the chutzpah like you could not believe. So if he was playing at a party, he just commanded the attention. So
it's great.
Hopefully I got a little from both of them.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, and I just I think one of the things that I've realized growing up is that one of the good things about having a musical family is that they understand it a little bit better when when you decide that's what you want to do.
Yes.
They kind of get it, because I know of a lot of people that didn't have musical families at all. And when they decided they wanted to be a musician, their family thought that they were crazy. You know, like,
aliens.
yeah, what, right. Why are you wanting to do that with your life? So I think they're not only getting the talent and the exposure to it, but having people around you that understand you and may support you a little bit more is a huge thing.
Oh yeah, yeah. Well, I was at Alabama. I was in the business school through my junior year. Because even though my mother understood about music, and my father to some extent, something in me my grades were good, so I thought I would, follow the straight and narrow. But I played in the jazz ensemble at Alabama all 5 years because I was in business school 3 years and then switched to music. So this is the point you're talking about. My mother understood it. My parents were divorced at that time, and my father was reluctant. He didn't think it was a good idea. But my stepmother apparently said to him, if she loves it this much, she's going to be fine. And so I switched to music, and thank you, Sue.
That's amazing. Yeah. There's so much to be said about just having someone that believes in you, right?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah.
And believing in yourself.
That is the truth.
Yeah.
Even though I haven't always done it, I agree with you. It is it's crucial, because like we were saying early on in this conversation, it's very easy to get in your head about those things, and having the confidence and the guts to do it is a huge deal.
It is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
By the way, congratulations on the being featured at the Country Music Hall of Fame back in 25. I meant to say something to you about that earlier. That's
Thank
incredible.
It was huge in my life. The Nashville Cats program is part of the Country Music Hall of Fame, and they pick 3 people a year, and it's going back all the way till the advent of country music recording, or recording anywhere. Recording of any kind in Nashville. So to be chosen to be a member of that group is huge, and it was never even on my radar that would happen. And I got the email one day, and it was mind-blowing, and it's still mind-blowing to think that has happened to me.
Well, it's a well-deserved honor, no doubt. And I know everyone would agree that, just an amazing career, but just in the short amount of time I've known you, very short amount of time. It's so funny, we're orbiting in the same universe,
A lot of times.
Yeah. Just, it's very apparent to me that you are just an unbelievable human being that just cares for people first and foremost, and the musical stuff that happens is just the icing on the cake,
Well, thank you. I think part of it is at this point in my life, and I mentioned earlier that, as I'm getting older, there are more challenges for some of my friends, and it's just kind of natural to become oriented that way, I guess, for anyone. But thank you very much for that. The Cats thing was great. I had all of my siblings and their spouses, and I had 2 guys from my very first bands.
Oh, man.
And I had when I was in elementary school, my best friend Cindy and I decided to start a band, and we were Monkees fans. So it was just the 2 of us, and we called ourselves the Chimps because of the Monkees. And so it was me standing out front with an electric guitar, a Japanese electric guitar, and then her dad, because we thought drummers had to be on risers, her dad built like a 3-foot tall square riser, and Cindy was sitting right behind me with she had a snare and a hi-hat, I think, or a snare and a cymbal. I think that was all. Yeah, she was there. So even Cindy even came. It was huge.
That's incredible. And, it's, to get honored is one thing, and then get to share it and celebrate it with the people that have been there basically from the beginning. That's pretty.
That's right. It was a
amazing.
several day event, as it turns out. And I'll say too, the staff at the Country Music Hall of Fame who were assigned to this project with me were so good. They were on top of it like crazy. I can't say enough about how well organized and cool those people are.
Yeah, I think I want to say is someone, a bass player. I'm trying to remember his name. Works for the Country Music Hall of Fame. It's not Jay. Is it Jay Bennett? Does he work there? I may be mistaken.
He might. He wasn't a part of this.
He wasn't part of that
public
thing.
program, but
yeah, it's incredible. I haven't been to the. It's been so long since I've been to the Country Music Hall of Fame. I remember when it was over on Music Row. I haven't been since it's moved.
Wow. Okay.
Yeah,
it's a nice place.
Yeah, it's amazing.
Yeah.
Well, Alison, I've just had a good time hanging out with you today. I could sit here and talk to you for 2 more hours.
Absolutely. I want to hear more about your story, especially since they've interwoven with mine so much.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, I'm going to hold us to that this is going to be part 1, and we're going to just book a date a few months from now, and let's just keep this going. I really mean that, because I have so many other things I'd love to talk to you about, just find out more and more about your career and just your philosophy on the music business and playing and sessions and live playing. And you just have an unbelievable wealth of knowledge about all of this.
Well, you can count on me to be here. If you want me to be here, I will.
All right.
I have loved it.
Yeah, I've had a really good time. And all right, well, we put it out there now. It's recorded. We're gonna part 2's coming, and we'll talk about this some more.
That sounds great.
We'll tell some good Scott Meter stories. I have some really good ones. So I'm
sure
sure you do too.
And he's a funny guy too. So
yes, that's it. So we'll take care. Best of luck, and we'll do this again.
All right, Brad. Thank you.
Thanks, Alison. If you enjoyed this conversation, please follow or subscribe to the Bandwidth Tapes wherever you listen, and consider leaving a rating or review. Thanks for listening, and I'll see you next time.